How long is too long before a relationship is finally over?
Well, it's over. Could be permanently, could be temporarily when both people stop making an effort.
Mm-hmm.
But because most of the time, 75% on average, women do the divorce filing or they do the breaking up. So if you're the guy that got dumped, well, you never try to keep somebody that doesn't want to keep you. You don't chase after a girl that's dumped you. If you want to continue working on things or try to work it out, but she's like, no, it's it. I don't want to be with you anymore. Then you're at that point, you're basically following what's in Seven Principles to Get an Ex Back. Hey, call me if you change your mind. I'm sorry you feel that way. I want to stay together, but it takes two to tango. And if you're not willing to be my dance partner, I can't make the relationship work all by myself. So if you don't want to participate, if you don't want to make the effort, sorry you feel that way, but call me if you change your mind. And then you walk away and you never look back because at that moment, it's just like trying to negotiate for something. She's basically said, I'm not interested in dating you. Other times, the woman is, I don't want to date you. We can be just friends. And if you want sex and romance, you're not going to sit around and agree to that because that's how you get yourself stuck in friend zone. And then you become her backup plan while she goes out and dates and sleeps with other guys and interviews your replacement. She knows that you're in the background, that if it doesn't work out, if she doesn't find anybody else, that she can always call you and you'll jump at the chance to be with her again. The self-loving thing to do in that case is to walk and never look back. If she ended it, if she broke it, if it was unilateral on her side to end the relationship, well, it's up to her to fix it. And so you're not going to call, you're not going to text. You tell her, hey, sorry you feel that way. Call me if you change your mind. Because again, if she doesn't want to make the effort, or she's sticking you in friend zone, or she's just adamant that she doesn't want to see you anymore, then you should assume that it's over forever and you might not ever hear from her again. And because you're at the negotiating table, metaphorically, she's saying no to sex and romance, or in some cases, hey, how about friendship and blue balls? And as a guy, that's not what you want. So the strongest negotiating position is being able to walk away. And the most important part of that is you have to mean it. That means you're not going to walk away for 30 days or go no contact for a few weeks and then call her and start trying to pursue her again. It's just because women have to know that if they push you too far, you'll walk and never look back. It's the woman's job to submit to the man. And if she does not want the same thing you do, you don't try to change your mind. You're going to move on as a man because you're mission focused and mission oriented and purpose oriented. And so you're going to go find somebody who's single and ready to mingle, somebody who's ready, willing, able, and open to dating you. And that's what you're going to focus on. And if down the road, a few weeks or maybe a few months, sometimes years, I've done phone sessions with guys who are like, yeah, my ex got in touch after 7 years. But at that point, they didn't want to get back together with her. But sometimes women come back. And also sometimes women, they think they can do better. And they go and they have a few boyfriends that aren't on the same level that you were or didn't treat them as good. And after they get out of those relationships, they realize, man, I really had it good. I was young. I was stupid. I didn't know any better. You may give them another chance, but if they reach back out in the future, you just make a date, just like it says in Seven Principles, Get an Ex Back. You don't go to her. You don't meet her out. You don't pick her up. You don't go for coffee. You don't do lunch dates. If she wants to see you, since she unilaterally ended it, she's got to do all the calling, texting, and pursuing. And you're not going to travel to see her because it's her job to earn another chance with you, not the other way around. And so, therefore, that's why she must come to your place. But sometimes women will come back when it doesn't work out with the guy that they started dating after you. And then they're talking to other guys, and that's not what you want either. But if you continue to engage with a woman that stuck you in friend zone or is not interested in sex and romance, and you go to her, you're basically putting her in charge because the problem arises is when the guy continues to try to pursue somebody and they get stuck in backup zone, and you're just kind of the guy that's in the background in case it doesn't work with somebody else. And so therefore you want to see that she's willing to submit to you, which is why you don't go to lunch. It's, because if a woman's trying to keep you in friend zone, she's going to try to say, oh, let's meet on neutral ground, or let's meet halfway, or let's meet for coffee, or let's meet for brunch, or let's meet for lunch. They're trying to do something that is platonic in nature. Because if you've told her you're interested in sex and romance, and then she wants to do something platonic, if you acquiesce and agree to go meet her for lunch or brunch or coffee, then whether you realize it or not, your action just communicated you're okay with friendship because you behaved in a way that was platonic. Whereas if you're adamant that you're interested in sex and romance only, you're not interested in friendship. If women make a date with you in the evening to make dinner at your place, then they know that sex and romance are on the table. And if she's not into that, she won't make the date. She won't keep that date. But if she's reached out to you, 9 times out of 10, she'll come over, you'll hang out, you'll have fun, you'll hook up. Then after she leaves, you say, call me later. You don't start pursuing her again, because guys, when they do that, what often happens is the woman comes back and reaches out a couple times, and the guy thinks, oh, I'll call her once a week and make a date. And I did a couple emails, you probably remember this past week, where guys did exactly that. She came back after a period of time after they were broken up. They started hanging out, having fun, and hooking up. She was really excited at first. And then as soon as they started pursuing her, it got to the point where she started backing off. Then her schedule wasn't open. Work was crazy. She was busy. And then she just kind of fades away again. It has to be her idea to come back. That's why when you're in a situation where you got dumped and then now she's coming back because her feelings have crept back up again, you have to let her do 100% of the calling, texting, and pursuing. And then you just make dates at your place, at least for the first 3 dates in a row. So if she comes to your house, all 3 dates in a row, where she's reached out to you first, and you hook up all 3 times, then you can meet her out and pick her up. But she's got to be the one to initiate the contact, to call you, to text you. And then you just assume when you get those messages that she wants to see you. So you make a date. Hang out, have fun, hook up, and eventually she'll be the one to bring up being exclusive, because it'll get to the point where she's just always with you all the time. It's a slow process. It takes time for women to fall in love, and it takes time for them to fall out of love. It's just a process, and you can't rush it.
My opinion that, which I've learned from Corey, is in that time that she's not with you, she's not reaching out to you or anything like that. Focus on your mission, your goals, and your purpose. And if she reaches out, she reaches out. And if she don't, that's okay. Because what? Masculinity is calm.
Yep, it's going to do its thing. Indifference makes a difference. It's going to be indifferent. It wants what it wants. And she either complies with what you want and lets you be the leader, or you don't hear from her again. It's because a lot of times guys are like, well, what do you think the odds are that I'm going to hear from her again? I'm always like, flip a coin. It's 50-50. I go either way. The most important thing, that as a man, you got to control the controllables, which is how you show up, how you behave. And most of the time, with people that are coming to my work, they've acted unattractive in a lot of ways for a long period of time, to the point where the woman's just not romantically, physically interested anymore. But when he walks away and he never looks back and he just disappears, and then maybe sometimes she hears through the grapevine that it seems like he just kind of moved on with his life and he's having a great time, especially if you got mutual friends or family in common, and she hears that you're dating and you're having a good time, or wow, you should have seen the girl that Corey was out with last week. Man, she was hot. And as time goes by and she goes out on a few dates or a few bad dates, or the guy she thought it was going to work out with that she started dating after you guys broke up turns out to be a douchebag, which often happens, then she starts to feel fearful that, man, what if I decide I want him back and he met somebody else? Scarcity creates value. And so that's powerful. So if there is a chance that she will come back, that's why you don't continue to engage with her. You just let her go. Because again, she pushed you too far. You wanted to work things out. She was adamant about not working anything out or keeping you in friend zone. And as a man, you love yourself too much and respect yourself too much to sit around trying to change a chick's mind. It's like, she's not into it, you'll go find somebody who is.
The way I read that question, It made me think about like your situation with your ex that you stayed with him for like 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's saying like how long is too long before a relationship is finally over, and you guys knew you were like over it after what, like a year?
Yeah, we pretty much stayed together, like a year, until we were just like, we just couldn't stand to be around each other.
Mm-hmm.
That was just like your existence and your presence give me the ick.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like he's probably broken up and he's in no contact, and 3 months have gone by and he's going, man, when's she going to come back? Well, if she started dating somebody else right after you, or a few weeks or a few months after you, you're not going to hear from her until that goes sideways. So it could be 6 months, it could be a year, it could be 2 years. That's why you don't wait around. You got to fill in your knowledge gap. What's in, obviously, what I teach in 3% Man, that what's in there. And because if she does come back, you want to have been out on a few other dates with other girls so you can practice the things that are in the book. So if she does come back, she finds a calmer, more relaxed, more masculine version of you that's more attractive. If you don't read the book and you're just sitting around waiting for her to reach back out and you don't date anybody else, you haven't changed at all. And then what happens is if she does reach out a few months later and then you re-engage with her, you're still going to turn her off for exactly the same reasons that you did before. You have to fill in your knowledge gap, and you've got to control the controllables, which is your behavior. And if your behavior turned her off because you acted too unattractive too many times, well, if she comes back after no contact works and then you behave exactly the same way, you will turn her off again for exactly the same reasons. I'm sure you guys have probably had times in the past where you broke up with somebody and then after a while you gave them another chance and then you got turned off for exactly the same reason and you end up breaking up for a second time or a third time or whatever.
Yep.
It's like, oh, I remember why I didn't want to be with you.
Yeah, well, it's like they'll be good for a little bit, and then they get comfortable and then start doing the same things that they used to do. Because they're like, oh, she came back, she won't leave me again. Oh, yeah.
If you behave the same way, she absolutely will.
Yeah, I guess they don't figure out why she left in the first place, and when she told you why, you weren't listening. It goes in one ear and out the other. So.
Or they don't really understand what she means.
Yeah.
Because you guys tend to sugarcoat things in a way that's palatable, that doesn't hurt their feelings or destroy their ego. And then, they don't really understand what it means, but that's where the book comes in, because it explains to you where they're coming from and why they say what they say. And what's amazing to me is, doing this for almost 20 years at this point, is that it doesn't matter if it's a girl in America or Saudi Arabia or Pakistan or the UK or New Zealand or Australia or China or Russia. Languages are different, cultures are different, but women say exactly the same things to men in their language when they get turned off. Because I'm dealing with guys that are multilingual, and they're like, that's what's amazing to guys when they read the books. Like, man, I'm from Saudi, and she said exactly the words that are right in your book, even though it's obviously in a different language. It's the same fucking thing. And if they don't teach you this stuff in school, so you got to learn it somehow. That's where the book comes in handy. And at the end of the day, you have no reason not to learn it, because if you go to understandingrelationships.com and just subscribe to the email newsletter, as soon as you hit submit, the book will open up in your web browser. You can read it for free. There's no reason not to learn this stuff, unless, of course, you like failing and getting rejected and getting your heart broken.